Welcome, race fans, to Photo Finish. I'm your host, Steve-O. This is your 2022 Breeders' Cup Preview Edition. As always, we are brought to you by Spinnable Sports. Go to spinnablesports.com for all your sports news and notes. Please subscribe to the Spinnable Sports YouTube channel and to the podcast channel everywhere you get your podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, any of the podcast platforms. We're available. As I mentioned, this is your 2022 Breeders' Cup edition of Photo Finish, episode 10, I do believe. We're going to be talking about the 39th edition of the Breeders' Cup, coming at you on November 4th and 5th from Lexington, Kentucky, running at Keeneland. As always, the Breeders' Cup rotates between several race courses throughout the country. This year we are in Lexington. Before we get started, just want to bring you some news and notes, talk about the weather for this weekend. Friday's looking really good, highs in the low to mid 70s. Saturday gets a little iffy. As of right now, they're calling for rain in the afternoon. I'm recording this on Wednesday evening, so that is always subject to change. Hopefully we get a good day of racing, but if they do get some rain showers in the morning and afternoon, we'll have to take a look, see how that's going to affect track conditions. Before I get into breaking down the card on Friday and Saturday, got some news and notes for you concerning the Breeders' Cup. Jack Christopher, one of the best sprinters in the country, is not entered in any Breeders' Cup races this weekend. Chad Brown's his trainer. What I read was that Chad Brown was scared that the vets were going to scratch Jack Christopher before the race, so they didn't enter him just to have him scratched. There's been some speculation that this horse has not looked good in training. He's been hurt. Chad Brown said he had a full body scan done. Nothing came of it. He just he warms up and has an unorthodox training style. And if the vets are not aware of that, they think the horse is lame, and he's afraid that the vets would scratch the horse. So Jack Christopher, one of the best sprinters in the country, not running in the Breeders' Cup this weekend. Another horse that's out of the Breeders' Cup is Latruska. Latruska was supposed to run in the filly and mare sprint. She's got an injury and is going to be taking 60 days to cool down, and then they'll reevaluate her. So that is your news and notes specifically for the Breeders' Cup. I want to talk about a couple of races on Friday. Friday is the juvenile races. So the 2-year-olds that are up and coming, this is a chance to get a good preview of some up and coming horses that could be factoring in next year. Triple Crown races. These are the horses to watch. So first race we're going to talk about on Friday is a 3 p.m. Eastern start time. It's race 6 on the card. It's the juvenile turf sprint. Wesley Ward has won the last 3 of these Breeders' Cup races. It's going to be run at 5.5 furlongs, obviously on the turf course. Again, Wesley Ward's got a couple of the favorites in this race. We're going to talk about just a few horses briefly because I know most people are going to want to focus on the Saturday card. The 2 horse in this race, Love Reigns, disappointed last time out at Royal Ascot. This is a horse that's coming over from Europe, 4-1 on the morning line. Did win last time out at Saratoga, but Wesley Ward and Irad Ortiz are the connection. So that's one of your horses to watch. See if Wesley Ward can make it 4 in a row in the Breeders' Cup juvenile turf sprint. Another horse to watch is Mischief Music, the 5-horse Charles Appleby William Buick connection. Again, a European horse, 8-1 on the morning line. Chad Brown's got a runner here. Oxymore, the 7. Jose Ortiz is going to be the rider, 8-1 on the morning line. Bob Baffert horse to watch, the number 11, Speedboat Beach. This is a horse that ran a really quick 5.5 furlongs at Del Mar, set a track record. The 11 is definitely a horse to watch here. See if Baffert can beat Wesley Ward out and finally win a turf sprint. One more horse to watch in this race is the 10. 15-1 Tyler's Tribe has some of the best speed figures in this race. So I like the 10. I like the 11. Maybe get them at a price and see if we can beat Wesley Ward, which is tough to do in sprint races. The next race on the card is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly race. It's race 7. You've got a favorite, 7-2 morning line favorite. It's the 10 horse Chocolate Gelato. Todd Pletcher is the trainer. Irad Ortiz is the rider. I'm going to look to beat the favorite here. I tend to like the 5 Wonder Wheel. It's a Mark Casse, Tyler Gaffalione horse, 5-1. Kind of stretched out his last race, and I think is ready to beat the favorite Chocolate Gelato. So I like the 5 over the 10 in race 7. Just quickly moving on, race 9 on Friday is your Breeders' Cup Juvenile Dirt Race. You've got a heavy favorite, 4-5 on the morning line. Bob Baffert's got Cave Rock here. He hasn't been tested, but I mean, this horse has looked fantastic. I think Cave Rock is probably deservedly the morning line favorite. We'll see what the number is closer to post time, but it's probably either just a win bet on the 3 or stay away from me. So that brings us into Saturday, which is when all the action starts. Race 3 is the first Breeders' Cup race on the card on Saturday. I'm going to bring you in and share my screen with you so you can take a look at the racing form I'm looking at as we go through the card. Race 3 kicks off at 11:50 a.m. There's 2 races before that on the undercard, but the action really gets going shortly before noon on Saturday. So fire race 3 up before your college football for your Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. 7 furlongs on dirt. I think this is going to be a wide open race. We're going to take a look at the 3 Chi-Town Lady. This is a Wesley Ward, Flavion Pratt horse, 20-1, but you got to watch Wesley Ward in sprint races. This is a horse that could figure in at 21, won his last time out at Saratoga. The 4 is, I believe, your morning line, not morning line favorite, but very close to it. 4-1 CC. I think this horse is beatable. She won her last time out in Saratoga as well. Grade 3 race. And then her last Grade 1 race in Saratoga before that, she finished 5th. So I think this is a horse that's beatable. Frank's Rocket, 6-1 on the morning line. This is a Bill Mott, Luis Saez horse. Won last time out 71 days ago. Don't know that she's got the speed numbers to compete, but 6-1 on the morning line. You gotta take a look at her. The 6 horse Japanese horse. Japanese, I think, had 1 or 2 horses that shipped over last Breeders' Cup that pulled an upset. So I don't think you can just toss horses just because they're coming over from Japan. I think you got to start taking them seriously. 7 is Obligatory, another Bill Mott horse. This one's ridden by Jose Ortiz. Very close speed here. If the track playing fast, you've got to look at a horse with good closing speed. This horse has put 3 wins together in a row and then finished 2nd and 3rd last time out. The horse that beat her last time out was Goodnight Olive, the 8. This is a Chad Brown Irad Ortiz horse, 3-1 on the morning line. This is actually your morning line favorite. Pretty good speed numbers here, 122 last time out. Won a Grade 1 at Saratoga. This won 5 in a row. Yeah, won the last 5. But speed numbers aren't off the charts. I think this is a wide open race. Going back and looking at even the 1 and the 2 horses that we didn't talk about, they all have pretty good speed numbers as well. So I think they can compete. 2 more horses we will talk about. The 11 is Wicked Halo. This is a Steve Asmussen, Tyler Gaffalione horse. This horse has won its last 4, again with good speed numbers. Likes to track just off the pace. One that at 10-1, I think you got to take a look at. One of my favorite horses in the field, though, is the 13 Echo Zulu, another Steve Asmussen horse. Ricardo Santana Jr. gets the mount. This is a horse that looked really good as a 2-year-old. She won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly last year at Del Mar. She won at the Fairgrounds Oaks this year and finished 4th in the Kentucky Oaks, which is the Filly and Mare race right before the Kentucky Derby. Secret Oath and Nest got her there, and those are 2 very good horses. Her speed figures are good. Lightly raced. She's got 6 wins and 7 starts, so including her last time out, Churchill Downs. This is a horse I like. 6-1 in the morning line. We'll see. We'll see what she does. If we can get her creeping up, hopefully some money comes in on CC and Goodnight Olive. I may pounce on Echo Zulu. But a very good betting race. Should be pretty wide open. Let's talk briefly about race 4. This is your Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. 5.5 furlongs. I think this is probably the turf sprint that Wesley Ward runs away with, in my opinion. Golden Pal is your 8 horse in this race. Irad Ortiz gets the mount. Very good speed numbers last time out, 124. This horse has won, I think it's undefeated. Yeah, this horse is undefeated in the United States. Did not do the best at the Royal Ascot back in June, and the last time it shipped over to Europe, didn't do well either. But this horse is undefeated in the United States, or at least dating back to August of 2020. So Golden Pal is your 2-1 morning line favorite, probably rightfully so. I would watch the 6 horse here, Highfield Princess, coming over from Europe. The European horses traditionally have done well coming over for Breeders' Cup, especially on the turf. So that's one to watch, but I think the 8 probably gets it done. Let's move on to race 5. We are going to cover the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I think this race is wide open. Honestly, I think just about any horse in this race has a chance. I've looked at all the speed numbers. They're pretty close. Horses to watch are the 5, Gunnet, Steve Asmussen, Tyler G. 7-2 on the morning line. Laurel River, Bob Baffert horse here. Irad's riding with Baffert, which is, you don't see that a whole lot. Baffert usually likes to use West Coast riders for his horses, but Baffert Irad connection could be interesting here. Cody's Wish, the 7, good story here. This is a Godolphin LLC horse. Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado, really good speed numbers. Cyberknife, the 9. Brad Cox, Florent Giroux. Even though this horse has not won his last time, 2 times out, he has ran in 3 grade 3s in a row, won the Haskell back at Monmouth Park in July. Very good speed numbers. I like Cyberknife, but it would not shock me at all if we just have somebody off the board come in and win this race. I think it's that wide open. We could get some really good prices for the 5th race here. Let's go on, talk about the 6th race. This is your Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf race. It's going to be ran at 1 mile and 3/16. I've looked at this race for a while. I don't have a good feel for it. I think we'll talk briefly about your morning line favorite. Your 5-2 morning line favorite is Nashua, European horse. The 4 horse Above the Curve has been running over in Europe, even though she was bred in Kentucky. Johnny V gets the mount, 9-2 on the morning line. There's just a lot of European horses in this race. I have a hard time getting a handle on them unless I go back and actually watch the races, which I just haven't had time to do. Tuesday is an Aidan O'Brien horse. Aidan O'Brien, one of the best trainers in Europe. So I think there's a number of European horses that could factor in here. I don't have a good feel. I'm probably going to be passing on race 6. Let's go down and talk about race 7. This is your Breeders' Cup Sprint. Going to be run at 6 furlongs on the dirt. Your favorite here, morning line favorite's the 9, Jackie's Warrior. We'll get to her in a minute. Let's look at the 2, Kamari, Wesley Ward, Jose Ortiz. Anytime you've got a sprinter with Wesley Ward, you got to take a look at her. Won her last 2 times out. Decent speed numbers, 4-1 on the morning line. I like Wesley Ward a little bit more on turf than I do on dirt. I don't think you can throw out the 2, but there's some horses I like better. The 4 horse here, the American Theorem, I think has some good speed numbers. Won a grade 1 back in July at Del Mar. Won the Bing Crosby Ran it in the Pat O'Brien at Del Mar in August, finished second to Laurel River, who we talked about just a minute ago. 10-1 in the morning line is interesting. I could see myself throwing this horse in to some exotics. 5 Aloha West it has been well ran. 6 wins and 12 starts. Luis Saez gets the mount. Aloha West could factor in as well. Let's go on down and talk about Jackie's Warrior, who's the morning line favorite. 4 to 5 in the morning line. Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario is the jockey. 17 starts lifetime, 12 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. This is just a really good horse. I honestly don't see any horse being able to beat Jackie's Warrior. I think he's going to be too strong. Even though Cody's Wish did edge him out last time at Spa in August, Jackie's Warrior still ran a 124 speed figure, which is really good. Cody's Wish just was better that day. Jackie's Warrior speed numbers are just off the charts the last 5 races. I think he gets it done. I would look for probably the 4 and the 6 to factor in, but I will probably play Jackie's Warrior up top and then slot into some combination of the 4, 6, and 2 behind him. Let's go on and talk about race 8. This is your Breeders' Cup Turf Mile. The favorite in this race is 4. The morning line favorite is 4. Modern Games. European horse has had some good numbers, but the rain could, if it starts raining, rain could factor in. This horse is 2 for 2 in the United States, but the notes that I've read about this horse is he likes it fast and firm. If the track is not fast and firm, if it takes some water and starts yielding a little bit, you'll see his last race over in England, the track was yielding, and he got beat by Bayside Boy. So if the track is yielding, is not fast and firm, we've got some other horses that can factor in. Let's go over a few of them. Smooth Like Straight, 10-1 on the morning line. His speed numbers are pretty good for his last few races, even though he hasn't got a win in quite some time. You have to go back to May of 2021 at Santa Anita for his last win. But his speed numbers are good. The 6 horse, Ivar, is a horse that just run a good bit. His speed numbers are decent. He's a closer. So depending on how the track's playing, he's one that could factor in. Let's look at 2 Chad Brown horses real quick. The 8 is Regal Glory, 6-1 in the morning line. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. Pretty good speed numbers for his last few. Had a run of, looks like 4 wins in a row, dating back to last November into early this year. Finished second his last 2 times out. Again, good speed numbers. This horse can factor in. Chad Brown's other horse that I want to look at is the 14. So we'll go all the way down to the 14. And Flavion Pratt gets the mount on Domestic Spending. This horse is 8-1 in the morning line. Pretty good speed numbers. 8 career starts, 6 wins. This horse knows how to win. Got necked out his last race back in 2021. So this horse is coming off a long layoff. He was scratched in November 2021 at Del Mar. Has not run since. Some horses just need some time to get going. We're going to talk about a horse in the Breeders' Cup Classic who is a heavy favorite who didn't race until very recently as a 4-year-old. So, this 5-year-old horse doesn't have a whole lot of starts under his belt, but the rest could do him well. So I'm interested in the 14. Let's go back and look at a horse that I'm probably going to be betting to win. Annapolis, Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz. Won his last time out with a 125 speed figure at Keeneland in Grade 1 back in October. I think this horse is set up to run this distance. I mean, I think Irad Ortiz is the best jockey in the country, and especially at 10-1, I'm going to be putting a win bet on the 11. Probably be playing some combination of the 11 with the 14. May mix in the 5 and 6 in my longer shot exotics. Let's move on to race 9. It's your Breeders' Cup Distaff. It's going to be ran at 1 mile and 1/8 on the dirt. I think, in my opinion, there's 2 horses in this race to watch. I don't love the draw on the rail from Malathot, Ty Pletcher, Johnny V. This horse has 9 wins and 13 career starts, then 3 seconds and a fourth. So this horse does not know how to do anything but hit the podium, especially when she won her last 2 races, both being Grade 1s. Last time out, she ran at Keeneland at this distance in a Grade 1 in early October. I like the one Malathot. The other horse that I think is just as capable of winning this race is the 6 Nest, another Pletcher horse. This one, Irad draws the mount. She has won her last 3 races. She's won 7 of 10 overall. And then you can see she had 2 second-place finishes before her 3 wins. Last race was a Grade 2 in early October. Won 2 Grade 1s before that. She ran in the Kentucky Oaks before the Derby. Got beat by Secret Oath, who is in this race as well. We'll talk about Secret Oath. Let's go look at Secret Oath, the 3 horse. 15-1 on the morning line. This is a horse I really like. Looked pretty good at the Kentucky Oaks, but hasn't done a whole lot. You recall she ran in the Preakness, finished 4th. She held her own. Went back Saratoga in July. In August, ran a couple of Grade 1s. Finished 2nd in both of those to Nest. Finished 3rd her last time out. 15-1, I like the price. I don't know that Secret Oath has enough to keep up with Nest and Malathot. One more horse to look at. Well, there's 2 horses to look at. Let's look at the 4, Clairiere, Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario. This horse likes to kind of be in the back and then close late. I like her 125 speed figure, 2 of her last 3 races. The last race, you can see she kind of acted up, hit the front of the stall twice before the race, finished 5th. So I think you can kind of throw out the last race, but there's horses that I like a little bit better than the 4. Let's look at search results. The 7, 9-2 on the morning line. Chad Brown, Flavion Pratt finished 2nd to Malathot. Her last time out at Saratoga in August. Won Grade 3 at Monmouth Park in July, and then finished 3rd before that at Belmont back in June in a Grade 1. I don't hate search results. I think how I'm going to play this race is I'm probably going to do a larger than normal exacta box because I just can't pick between the 1 and the 6. I think those are the 2 best horses in the race. So I'm probably going to play a larger than normal exacta box with the 1 and the 6. I like Secret Oath. Maybe it's just because I felt like she had a really good Kentucky Oaks. She beat Nest there. I don't think she can win this race, but I'd probably pick her to come in 3rd. 15-1, that could help bump up our trifecta. So I'd probably play the 6-1 over the 3 in a trifecta. Moving on to race number 10. This is your Breeders' Cup turf race. It's going to be ran at 1.5 miles. I think this is one of the races where the European horses should do well. The Godolphin LLC is just a fantastic breeding operation. They've got 2 horses in this race, the 5 and the 7. The 5 horse is 3-1. I think morning line favorite. Charles Appleby's your trainer for both of these horses. Very good trainer over in Europe. Rebels Romance. is your 5 horse, the 3-1 morning line favorite. 11 starts, 8 career wins. Doyle is your jockey. He's shipping over with the trainer here. Looks like Doyle and William Buick have both ridden this horse. Buick's riding the 7, I believe. Yeah, for Appleby. Nation's Pride. 7-2 on the morning line. Looks like he's been over in the United States getting ready for this race. Won his last 2 times out. Another horse we need to look at. I'm going to go back up and look at the 2. Warlike Goddess. This is a Bill Mott horse. Joel Rosario gets the mount. 9-2 on the morning line. Has won 3 of her last 4. Won a grade 1 back in October, leading up to this race. Very good speed figures. Her speed figures are comparable, certainly, to the 5, although you don't always know how well the speed figures, in theory, a speed figure should translate regardless of where the race is. But with these European races, they don't always translate the same. Some of these tracks in Europe, you've got some slope or elevation to them. You're going uphill or downhill, so that could factor in. Just a horse that you love to see still running. Channel Maker, 8-year-old horse, 30-1 on the morning line. Probably will not compete. Probably will not win. But he's making his 49th start. Only has won 9 times, so again, probably not going to win. But that's just something that I wanted to point out. You know, you don't see many horses racing until they're 8 years old, but you like to see it when it happens. I think this is probably one of the races that Europeans win. Rebels Romance, your morning line 3-1, will probably be my pick. I wouldn't be opposed to betting a 5-7 Godolphin connection here. See if Appleby can put 2 on the podium. And with that, we are going to race 11, which is the race that everybody wants to see. This is your Breeders' Cup Classic. $6 million on the line. It's going to go off at 5:40 p.m. We're going to talk about each horse individually, and then we're going to look at the racing form here together. Your 1 horse, Taiba, 8-1 on the morning line. Bob Baffert, Mike Smith. This horse finished 12th in the Kentucky Derby, 2nd in the Haskell, won last time out in the Pennsylvania Derby. Very impressive, 133 speed figure last time out. This horse could definitely figure into the mix. The 2 horse, Life is Good. Ty Pletcher, Irad Ortiz, jockey, 6-1 on the morning line. This horse won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile back in 2021, getting ready. And then outside of a little blemish over in Europe, has won every race since then in the United States. 9 wins, 11 starts. The 2 horse, Life is Good, is one you got to watch. If the track gets a little wet, gets a little sloppy, this horse did win on a sloppy track last time out. Won the Pegasus, won the Whitney. Those are 2 pretty well-contested Grade 1 races. So the 2 horse could factor in. 3, Happy Saver. Ty Pletcher, Johnny V. 30-1 on the morning line. There's an article that came out today that there was no training on this horse today. Hasn't been for a week or so. She's got a quarter crack in her left hind leg. One to keep an eye on. It would not shock me if this horse gets scratched before the race, but we'll keep an eye on Happy Saver. I don't think she's got the speed to compete. The 4, Flightline. Here's your morning line favorite, 3-5. John Sadler's your trainer. Flavion Pratt, jockey. This is just a horse that has come out of nowhere. 4-year-old horse, 5 starts, 5 wins. First start was in April of last year back at Santa Anita. This is a horse that ran into a fence as a 2-year-old. He had to overcome some injuries. That's why he's so lightly raced. Didn't have any prep races under his belt to be entered in the Kentucky Derby last year. But It's 5 for 5. Something to keep an eye on. He's only raced once outside of California. That was back in June at Belmont. He won the Grade 1 Metropolitan by 6 lengths, though. 136 speed figure. Uh, every one, since his first race, every speed figure's been above 130. Last race, back at Del Mar, 151 speed figure. That's insane. Won by almost 20 lengths. We'll come back and talk about Flightline in a minute, but this horse has looked the part so far. Just hasn't been tested a whole lot. Let's look at the 5. Hot Rod Charlie, Doug O'Neill, Tyler G. are your connections. 15 to 1 in the morning line. This is a horse you may recall. I was third in the Kentucky Derby in 2021, second in the Belmont. Did win the Haskell back in 2021. Won the Pennsylvania Derby. Ran in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year. Finished fourth to Nick's Go, Medina Spirit, Essential Quality. Speed numbers recently not as good. Did win last time out. Was in Grade 2, went in Grade 1 against tougher competition. Finished third in the Whitney this year in Saratoga in August to Life is Good and Happy Saver. Hot Rod Charlie is a horse I've liked in the past. I just don't think he's got the recent speed numbers to keep up with Flightline. And your 6 horse Epicenter. 5 to 1 in the morning line. Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario. Won last time out. Won the Travers in Saratoga. 131 speed figure. Was his top speed figure yet. You can kind of see something I look for. Gradual increase in speed figures. The horse is getting faster. May not have peaked yet. So that's something to keep an eye on. Won the Jim Dandy before that. Even though Grade 2 Jim Dandy at Saratoga's always one that's pretty competitive. Zandon, another horse you may recognize, finished second there. This horse finished second in the Preakness to early voting, finished second in the Kentucky Derby. So this horse has faced some pretty good competition. He was certainly in the running for Horse of the Year until Flightline came along. So this is a horse I like a lot. I just don't know that he's got enough to keep up with Flightline. Moving on, Olympiad, Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado, 10 to 1 in the morning line. 12 starts, 8 wins. His best speed figure is 135, 3 races ago. I don't know that this horse has enough to keep up with the Flightline and Epicenter. Your last horse in this race is Rich Strike, your out of nowhere Kentucky Derby winner. Sonny Leone is your jockey on this one. As you recall, won the Kentucky Derby, finished 6th in the Belmont, which I told you, horse was not going to do well at Belmont. Did come back and ran in the Grade 1 Travers at Saratoga, finished 4th. Got beat just barely by a head in a Grade 2 stakes race at Churchill Downs at the beginning of October by Hot Rod Charlie, who's also in this race. So 20 to 1 in the morning line. I still don't think Rich Strike is going to be competitive. So how do I see this race? I see this race as Flightline is just too good. Flightline likes to be on the early lead. I don't know that any horse is going to be able to keep up with him. I think Epicenter is going to try and run him down. I don't think he's going to be able to. How I'm playing this race, Flightline over Epicenter and Taiba. I like the Baffert horse, 8 to 1. Had a really good speed figure last time out. Would not shock me if Taiba tries to keep pace, doesn't extend himself too much, lets Epicenter run on, and then closes to get up probably for second. I think Flightline's too good. I've always tried to beat the favorite, especially at 3 to 5. I don't know that this is a race I'm going to be trying to beat the favorite. I'm probably playing some straight exactas, straight trifectas, maybe even a large win bet on the 4, depending on how things are going. I like the 4 and the 6 and the 1 in this race. You know, Life is Good, 6 to 1 has looked good. Last couple races, I just don't think he's got the speed to keep up. he may try and run with. I think he tries to run with Flightline, but I don't know that he's got the stamina and the endurance to keep up. I think he'll probably fade late. But I do think he's going to try and press Flightline for the early lead. Again, I don't think Happy Saber with his may even scratch, but if he doesn't, I don't know that he can be competitive in this race, given his issues with his leg. Hot Rod Charlie, I like a lot. Just as a horse, he's fun to watch. I just don't know that he can keep up. 15-1 though, you could throw him in to your exotics. If he hits the board, that will help boost up the price. I will not be playing the 8. Probably not have much of the 7. If I have anything, it would be maybe just a win place bet just in case. The 135 top speed figure does interest me, but I just don't know that Olympiad is good enough to compete. Last time he ran in a race with other horses, he finished 4th to Life is Good and Happy Saber and Hot Rod Charlie. So I'm not sure the 7 can compete. So I'm playing the Breeders' Cup Classic 4/6/1. I hope that I have helped you find some winners, and we will be back probably sometime after the first of the year in the lead up to the Kentucky Derby. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share us around, and remember to go to spinablesports.com for all your sports news and notes. This has been Photo Finish. I'm your host, Steve-O.